I believe couponing is especially helpful to those that are 50 and over. With inflation continuing going on, unfortunately, it makes things so much more difficult for those that are on fixed income. Couponing and saving money as much as you can will help because the savings can go back into paying for other things. For example, doctor's bills that insurance didn't cover, prescriptions, because those are expensive.
We are looking forward our way. Hi, this is Brett. Carol and I have a new twist on our finance-themed podcast today. Carol, what do we have in quote-unquote store?
Did you like that, Brett?
I like that,
For our listeners, I'm always trying to add something funny to the script for Brett. And most of the times, he just looks at me and just grins. But I think you like
roll
it.
Roll my eyes or whatever.
Roll
sure,
his eyes at me. Yes. So, yes, we are quote unquote in store for today's podcast. Actually, we are going to see how our store visits can save money for our families in this crazy economy we are enduring. Today's guest is Mandy Morkel, founder of the website Love Live Save. Mandy is an expert at saving money through couponing and various store savings programs. Mandy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Hey, before we get into the nitty-gritty of couponing, let's learn a little bit more about you, your background, experiences, and what drove you to not only do couponing, but to provide tips to others to coupon.
It's definitely been an interesting journey. I first started couponing about 12 years ago, mainly because I was in college. I was living at home with my mom, and I felt like it was my way to kind of help her out and kind of, pay my way. And then a couple of years ago, I started thinking about wanting to start learning to teach people how to coupon. But honestly, I didn't even think I was going to be that good at it. I kept postponing it for like the longest time. And then 2020 happened and the pandemic was going on and we were stuck at home and so many of my friends were losing their jobs. And I wanted to find a way to pay it forward. And then in September 2020, which I'm about 2 weeks away from my anniversary of Love Live Save, my husband at the time worked the midnight shift at his work. And I woke up to a phone call from him at like 4:00 in the morning, letting me know that his work had caught fire in the middle of the night and the building was in a blaze. And the whole next day was a whole big fog for me. And then I kind of had this eye-opening experience of, yes, we're going to be hurting. He's probably going to lose his job. And we're not the only ones hurting. So I immediately took to, I think I was first on Facebook, and I haven't looked back since. I started Love Live Save almost immediately. And I can't imagine where I would be without, if that wouldn't have happened. As sad as that is, because it was a very scary situation, but it's been an amazing journey ever since.
Wow, amazing.
Mandy, the term couponing can be kind of broad. For me, coupons are little pieces of paper. For many folks, it's a phone app or lots of websites. When you began providing couponing tips to your followers, how did you define those basics? Did you set a goal and hone in on the first simple steps for them to get started?
When I first began teaching people how to coupon, I started in a Facebook group called Dollar General Digital Couponing Only. It's an amazing group. I'm an admin of it. And one thing that I thought that might help was one afternoon I got on there and I said, would anyone be interested in doing a Facebook Live where I just talk about couponing? I'm like, no one's going to want to listen to me. And it was a resounding yes. Oh my gosh, yes. So I started it, and this provided me an opportunity to those that wanted to learn how to coupon and gave them opportunity to be able to talk to me and interact with me and ask me like one-on-one questions. I always recommend anyone who is wanting to learn how to coupon, start with digital couponing. It's definitely the most beginner-friendly method. One of my favorite apps is Dollar General. It's a very beginner-friendly store. All you pretty much have to do is download the app, or if you don't have a smartphone, you can do it on the computer. It's just easier on a phone. You set up an account, you start clipping your coupons. It's literally that easy. I haven't touched a paper coupon in probably 3 years, and I have a rather large stockpile for my family. I'm almost exclusively a digital couponer.
The one thing about digital apps is security. Have
Yeah.
you had any issues about security using apps on your phone?
No, I haven't. I mean, the majority of the apps that I pretty much use for couponing, outside like the rebate apps, I pretty much only use Dollar General, their app, and like Walgreens on occasion. Um, I've never really had any, to my knowledge, I haven't had any security issues. Every once in a while, because technology is just lovely. The apps crash, and they have their own issues, but I've never had a security issue with
Okay,
digital couponing.
great. Thank
Knock
you.
on wood.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Well, when you're utilizing social media, you mentioned Facebook is where you kind of started up and,
Yeah.
and really hit it the ground running. But which platforms are you seeing most useful? I mean, obviously Facebook, or is there Instagram piece to this? Or do you focus on websites or phone apps? I mean, which social media makes it easier and which makes couponing harder?
I mean, for me, well, first, that's a great question. When I first started couponing, like I said, I started with Facebook because I think the majority of people start on Facebook when it comes to social media. That's like their very beginner app. But I quickly learned that everyone that wanted to learn how to coupon, they learn different ways. So I quickly started to branch out into other platforms to make it easier for everyone. For example, some people are more visual learners, and so I post deal graphics over on my Instagram page where they can just pull it up on their phone. It's got all the details in one little screenshot, and they're good to go. Then I realized that some people need a little bit more explanation, so I started doing the TikTok deal videos. And then I had people that, they're very beginner, very new to couponing, and they need more in-depth explanations. So that's why I started doing the YouTube videos. I not only post longer deal videos over there where I explain what items they need to pick up, what coupons they need to clip, stuff like that, but I also do my couponing live chats, where people can ask me questions live, like as they need them. And it's been an incredibly helpful tool, not only for me but for other people to get the information they need.
I would think that couponing can be overwhelming for many people. Um, I can remember the first time I started collecting little clips of paper that it was suddenly they were everywhere. But it seems that you focus on specific products and specific stores. Is that the key to success in couponing and saving money, at least in the beginning?
Absolutely. I always recommend people that want to learn how to coupon focus on one store at first, and build a list of items that your household uses the most often. Like I always, when I first started couponing, I made a list. It was kind of started out of, I was sick of the same items always being on my shopping list.
Mhm.
So I encourage people to build that list, and then when they go to work on couponing and when I post my deals, then they can refer back to that list and be like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting really low on laundry detergent. Let me look for deals on the detergent, or um, dish detergent, or diapers, because I specialize in teaching people how to save money on diapers since they're so expensive. But I very much encourage people to get organized with something like that.
Although we're focusing on how to save money, like, I know I'm guilty of this. It's just difficult to curb spending. After all, just because you have a coupon doesn't mean you need the item because you have the coupon. Though it's a great experiment. It's like, hey, I've always wanted to try this product, possibly, but how do you prevent your followers from hoarding or buying with no regard to need because they have that coupon?
That is a really good point. I mean, I think couponing and hoarding are two words that they kind of go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Probably especially since years ago, that show on TV, that everyone knows. But one of the things I always tell my followers, is that I can teach you how to coupon and get low out of pocket deals all day long. But if I'm not teaching you how to coupon items that you actually need for your family, I'm doing you a disservice,
Mhm.
because you're using your money on those items, but you're still needing diapers and detergent and food and stuff like that. Um, and this is why I focus every week on deals in all the major categories. I do personal care deals, I do household cleaning supplies, diapers, so on and so on. This way they can refer back to the list of items that they need in their house and pick the deal that is best suited for them. Not only does this help, them be more focused, but it helps save space in their stockpiles. Because
Yeah.
the more you coupon, you run out of space.
Well, and I can see this tying directly into a personal finance and budgeting.
Yeah. Oh,
That,
yeah, absolutely.
to understand what you have in your check account, what you need to spend on,
Yeah.
credit card, whatever the case might be. But this is a great tool to learn how to personal budget yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I've had so many of my followers, and I've done it on occasion. I probably should start doing it again, where we issue, like, let's say, a $20 challenge, and we, set a goal. We have our list of things we need to get. How many things can you get on your list and stay under $20?
Nice.
So it's, I always like
That's
a
cool.
challenge.
That's
fun.
pretty cool.
That's fun. It's a nice
Yeah.
challenge. Yeah.
Probably the one thing that I don't miss about getting a printed newspaper is getting all of the coupons
Oh, yeah.
that come with the printed paper, because then you're going through and you're seeing, oh, I've never tried that before. I got a 50-cent coupon. I'm
Yeah.
spending $5, but I have a
Yeah.
50-cent coupon. So yeah, it makes a big difference when you're not.
Paper couponing is definitely a full-time job. Not
Oh,
only
yeah.
that, but like I always try to be, if one thing I always make sure I mention is that if you do paper couponing, be responsible with the way you recycle your newspaper.
Yeah, right,
because I know so many people that are like, there's a good coupon out. I gotta go get like 10 papers. Don't throw those papers in the trash. Like,
yeah, right.
you gotta be responsible about how you do things.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. Thank you. The
course.
world says thank you. The earth
Of
says
course.
thank you.
I try.
So, Mandy, one thing that also hit me when we were discussing your accomplishments, educating your followers on couponing, but you also help a nonprofit. You were able to make a huge difference to a local nonprofit through your tricks of couponing. Tell us about that great success story. This is wonderful.
Sure. Last year, my son's in preschool, and last year I went to pick him up from preschool one day, and they always have this folder in his book bag where they put notes to communicate with me. And there was this note in his book bag saying that they were going to be doing a community drive to benefit the domestic violence shelter in my area. It mentioned that the class that had the most donations would receive a class party. I took it as a sign that it was my moment to shine and to help make a difference. The paper included a wish list of items that they needed, so I quickly put together an Amazon wish list with those items, and I shared it to my social media pages, along with the story of the project, so they knew what was going on. Very quickly, I was shocked to see that so many of my followers were rallying together to support this cause. And for a solid week, every day, Amazon packages arrived on my doorstep. I'm sure my Amazon driver just loved me that week. And it just all these items started showing up from the wish list. On the last day, I went down to my personal stockpile and more than doubled the donation with items from my own personal stockpile. Like, I donated personal care products, a lot of shampoo, body wash, lotion, because that's one of the things that my followers, I didn't really add to the wish list because I knew I had it my own. I carried bags and bags of stuff to my car and filled it. I then drove to the school where they clearly were shocked and was not expecting what I was donating. It took 6 to 7 employees or workers to come out, empty my car, and they filled 2 flat carts of donations. The next day, I actually realized that I pulled something rather bad in my knee in the process of gathering everything up, but it was totally worth it because to know that I was helping to make a difference for my community. The next week, there was a day where I went to pick up my son and I was in the pickup line, and I had because it was a nice day, and I had my window down, and I could hear the teachers ahead of me apologizing to the parents. I couldn't hear what it was. They kept saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." And I'm like, what's going on? And here I see them passing kids, and the kids have crumbs all over their faces. and I hear, and she came up to me and said, Mandy, I'm so sorry. We didn't have time to wipe his face. The kids got to have a donut party this week, today, for being the class that won the giveaway. And I'm like, you know what? The look on those kids' faces was priceless. It was like they had the best day ever after keeping my son home for 2 years during the pandemic, years that were incredibly crucial to his learning, and he fell behind because of it. It was so nice to know that I could turn my couponing skills into a huge, huge win for him.
Nice.
And he was the cool kid in class.
He was he was that kid in class. So,
he was.
So
He was,
the other thing that you've helped with, and you and I were talking about this, are diaper banks.
Oh yeah,
helping people find diapers.
That's one thing that I want to start getting into. That's one of my goals going into the holiday season. One of the things that I decided on when I first started teaching people how to coupon is I wanted to, I can teach people how to coupon almost anything, but being a first-time parent, one of the things that hit my pocketbook the most was diapers. So I took it on a personal challenge of mine to learn how to coupon diapers and not only save money, but stockpile them. So I teach people how to stockpile. And about a couple months ago, I kind of got the idea that I wanted to start building a second diaper stockpile in my house that I was going to donate to a parent in need here in my community to help make a difference. Like maybe, the first year of diapers, because that would have been a game changer for my sanity when oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not only just the cost, but finding them in this craziness that we've got with the stores, right?
Absolutely. Right. And I mean, that's a really great point too, because one of the things that hit me as a parent the most, and I always say forever changed how I coupon and how I teach people to coupon, is that when the pandemic first started and we started seeing the shortages, I kind of think we all predicted that the toilet paper was going to disappear because we're all stuck at home. The one thing that I was not prepared for was baby wipes. Baby wipes disappeared from shelves for weeks because I'm sure people are using it as a substitute for toilet paper. But as silly as it sounds, nothing made me feel more of a failure as a parent than not having the baby wipes to wipe my kids behind, if that makes sense. And I kind of had this instantaneously flip on switch in my head. This is never happening again. I'm never going to worry about having enough, diapers, wipes, toilet paper, paper towels, all the things that disappeared. I made a mental note of. I'm like, I'm going to have at least a couple months worth in my stockpile, so I don't have to worry about this again.
Right.
And which has helped with, price increases over the last couple months.
Right. Yeah. So I heard that you discovered other moms wanted to share couponing information, but as our lives are, when you're first parents and, through till the kids are gone, there's a time where the kids need to have the attention, and then you get the time for yourself. So get together online when the kids are in bed. So talk about your couponing after dark. Does it also involve some alcohol, maybe?
I wish. I mean, maybe that's a new series of it. I don't know.
Maybe
dim the lights.
Coupons,
and, just
coupons for
right.
wine. Yeah,
right.
I'll make branded wine glasses with my logo on it. I mean, it could
go.
work.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, that made my day. So couponing after dark started in the beginning when people were interested in me doing a live chat, like I'd mentioned before when I made the comment on Facebook. But because, like you said, my son demands so much of my attention, that was when the pandemic happened and we were literally home was our life, and that was all it was. Because he went to bed so late, I was only available to start going live after 10 p.m. And so in the beginning, I thought people, not as many people are going to be able to join. I'm like, that's okay, as long as we have fun. but I quickly realized I was amongst my people. Um, so many people started joining and mentioning that they just put their kids to bed and that this was their mom time to have fun with their friends. And, there have been so many times that I was live. I would start going live at like 10 o'clock and I'd be live up until 2 o'clock in the morning just because we were having fun.
Wow.
That's a way to do it. There you
Right?
go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, Mandy, we not only wanted to talk about our personal finances and how to save money when we're going to the store, but we also wanted to feature you as a female business owner, and you actually have two businesses: the
I do.
Love, Live, Save group, but also Cantonology, which I have to keep making sure I'm saying that correctly. So tell us about Cantonology, but also your thoughts on the value of female-owned businesses in your community.
Yeah. So in 2015, I went. I don't know if you guys have ever been into Canton, Ohio, and if you haven't, I welcome you to it.
Football Hall of Fame, yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Right. So in 2015, I always had a goal to have a business in downtown Canton. I don't know why. Since I was in high school, it was always part of my mind. And in October 2015, I went down with my mom and my husband to what they called First Friday. I'd never been to one before, and it was an experience. And I remember walking away, talking to my mom, and I remember feeling like the saddest I'd felt in like the longest time. And my mom was like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "This is amazing. I need to find a way to be a part of this." And the very next month, mom came to me and said, "Hey, guess what we got?"
Oh,
And I go, "What?"
jeez.
And she showed me a photo of our storefront with the for rent sign out front.
Oh,
She's
wow.
like, "We're moving in next week."
Oh my
So
gosh.
it kind of started, it's a way for us to share our love for our city and, embrace all sorts of art that, kind of embraces this our city's history because we have a lot, whether or not it's our rich football history, because Hall of Fame, or the old locations that are no longer around anymore, but we still embrace it. It's been amazing. We started our studio after I discovered my grandma. I don't know if I mentioned to you, I live in what used to be my grandparents' house.
Yes.
This was the room I'm in right now was her bedroom. And I got to a point where I was forgetting, this was the years after she passed away, and I started forgetting the sound of her voice. So I wanted to start doing scrapbook albums of her so my future kids would know her. And I kept coming across these photos of Canton, and I had completely forgotten because she passed away from Alzheimer's years prior, that I forgot that was like one of her favorite pastimes, to go around, take photos of new things going around town. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll start a Canton scrapbook. I thought I'd end up with like 100 photos. Yeah, I ended up with over 3,000 photos of
Oh
Canton
my
that my grandma
gosh.
personally had taken.
Oh my gosh.
Buildings that were no longer around anymore, special events, like when they took the courthouse angels off the courthouse to refurbish them, all that was there. So that's when Cantonology was started, and we started featuring art in our studio made with her photos. And it's been an amazing 7 years since we first started. We actually celebrate our 7-year anniversary this November. It's the first Friday of November was our first week being open. Um, and one thing that I find especially amazing about having the art studio in downtown is that there are so many female-owned businesses in downtown Canton.
Mhm.
I am one of 6 businesses on our block of 4th Street. And 5 of them are female-owned businesses.
Right.
I find it really creates a real focus on our community. We have an invested interest in downtown succeeding, and we're always trying to like have meetings and get together and be like, okay, what new things can we be doing? And it's it's been amazing. There's
I live outside of Westerville, which is a suburb of Columbus,
Yeah.
and it has always had a huge number of female-owned businesses.
Yeah.
And talk about community growth.
Yeah.
That's
I think female-owned businesses have become like much more common over the last couple decades. And one of the things I didn't mention to you before, one of the things that made my life a whole lot easier when I first had my son is he came to work with me for his whole first
Mhm.
year of life. We have our studio, Cantonology, actually is 2 different addresses. We when the studio next door to us moved out, we contacted our landlords and we're like, yeah, we want that one too. And we had a baby gate up, and I fixed that entire studio with everything that I had at home. There had to be a duplicate of it down at the studio, and it's I wouldn't have taken it any other way.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and all the ladies on our street just loved doting over my son. And
Well, there
There
you
you go.
go.
right?
Great. So, and your
Nice.
mom is still real active with with
Oh yeah,
Cantonology.
yeah. She right at the beginning of the pandemic, when it first started happening, I started getting real nervous about bringing my son because he wasn't even quite a year old at that point. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? I don't really feel like I'm comfortable bringing him
Mhm.
out to the public, with everything going on. My mom had actually just got laid off from her job that she had for, I think, like almost 20 years. And so she went to work at the studio full time. And now she has an online job that has the freedom to be able to do both at the studio and kind of go back and forth.
Nice.
And that gives me the freedom. I mean, that's kind of what started Love Live Save. When she went back to work at the studio, I was here at home, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting antsy. Like I got to do something.
There you
And
go.
and Love Live Save started.
But
So
what a great creative way to deal
yeah,
with what you want to do, sort of your passion, as
yeah.
well as family needs at the same time. And you've done it in 2 different ways.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the funny parts is like my followers, because they've been around for almost 2 years now. One of the things that blows their mind every time it comes up is that I'm not only a couponer. Like they think I live, breathe nothing but coupons. Like that's it. And they didn't realize that I'm not only a I'm a small business owner, but I have an actual brick and mortar shop, and that I'm an artist. And that's when I kind of started merging the 2 businesses kind of together with, I did not doing Canton stuff, obviously, but like, and your awesome followers aren't going to be able to see this, but you guys will. I started designing, my Cantons or my couponing stickers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, it's, it's made a huge difference in my life for sure.
Nice. Nice.
Nice. There is a lot of jargon in the couponing world. Yeah, some things I've not even heard of, like Catalina machine, Ibotta, if I'm pronouncing that right,
Yeah.
Ibotta Cash, and I've heard of Patreon pages. Let's take a moment, and if nothing else, talk about those 3 things, but maybe introduce the audience to these names. Because I mean, if we were used to getting the Sunday paper, clipping out
Yeah.
coupons, there's a whole digital world out there
Yeah.
that have pros and cons, of course, but we need to understand what they can and can't do. Could you give us some more details and advice in using these various programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are cashback apps like Ibotta and Fetch Rewards. They're apps you download on your phone. You clip your offers, kind of like you're clipping a digital coupon, and then you go to store like you normally do. Now, one of the best parts is, if you have an actual coupon, like just for example, let's say Ibotta had like a $2 offer on Tide, right? But you also had an actual $2 coupon on Tide. They stack
Mm,
because Ibotta is not a coupon, it's an offer back. So you go to the store, you do your shopping, you do your couponing, whatever. And then when you get home, you scan your receipt into the app and you earn money back into your account on the app. So like Ibotta, so like
so it's short for I bought a Tide. I bought a
yeah,
clean
you know
tissue. Okay,
you
gotcha.
know I've never thought of it that way, but I bet you're right.
Okay, I bet it is then. Okay, all
That does
right,
Well,
make
that makes
sense.
sense.
and is that correct that your Ibotta account then funnels into your checking account?
You
So
can.
you're
You
getting
can.
real money.
Yeah, you are. Same with okay, so like Fetch Rewards, the money you earn back, you can only redeem for gift cards.
Okay.
But with iBot, which is great,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them. Like there's Home Depot, I think,
Mm,
Amazon,
Oh,
Walmart,
yeah.
literally everything's on there. But with Ibotta, they give you, I think, 3 options. Either one, you can do the same and redeem for gift cards in their app. You can have your balance transferred into a PayPal account,
Mhm.
or I believe you can link a personal checking account and it would immediately get deposited into your checking account.
There you
I
go.
I personally use my PayPal just because it's easier, but
mhm.
um these are especially handy. These apps are especially handy for saving up for items that are much harder to coupon. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Earlier, I bought it in Fetchon as a challenge. I think it was back right before my birthday in March. And for a few months, I worked hard to build up my money, and I bought it in Fetch through my couponing. After several months, I had saved up enough money to trade in my money for gift cards to buy my iPad Mini, of which
Okay.
I paid $0 for.
Cool.
Wow.
My
Cool.
iPad. I got my case, all the stuff to get set up because I wanted it for my couponing, and it was all done through that. Um, Now, like what you mentioned with Patreon, I just wanted to explain because a lot of people probably won't know what Patreon is. Patreon is a website I use where you can set up memberships that people can sign up for, like with a small fee that they pay every month. In exchange for their fee, they gain access to a variety of things. Now, all different creators do this. Like it's popular with artists, but they get a variety of things in exchange. For example, I on average write 80 to 100 couponing deals every week.
Wow.
And I very rarely have enough time to get it posted across all my social media platforms because I have my son and everything going on.
Mhm.
So I can't remember when I started my Patreon page. I decided I was going to start at the beginning. When I first write my deals, I was going to type it up as a PDF list, and I offered it on my Patreon page. So my Patreon members have access to every single one of my deals every week, and they can either download it to their phone or their tablet, that kind of thing, or they can print it off or print off specific pages, and I categorize it. So, all the laundry deals are all together, all the cleaning supplies deals are all together. So it's all really easy for them to find and get whatever they need the most that week. It's been a game changer for sure.
Wow.
Well, and
That's
one
great.
thing, just to remind our listeners, I'll work with Mandy to make sure we have all the information about these,
Oh
and we'll
yeah.
include it on our resources for the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Hmm.
So, I can't believe it. We're already coming to the end of our podcast. Poor Mandy, we've had her worried for a few weeks about doing this. I told
It's
her
been
it
fun.
I told her it
Good.
would be fun and it wouldn't take very long to do. But we always ask our guests if they can give us some last words of wisdom. So, Mandy, do you have any other suggestions or advice for our listeners today, particularly if they're 50 and over, in how to save money in their budgets and how they can use couponing as a financial boost?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you say this because, like I mentioned to you guys, I prepared for this podcast in advance, and this was the one question that had me stumped like nothing else.
Really?
It did. I literally stared at it for a solid 10 minutes. And luckily, my awesome mother-in-law was coming home to drop off my son. She had him for the day, and she is 50 and over, and she coupons. So I bounced some ideas off of her, and
Oh, that's great.
yeah, she brought a lot of feedback, and this is what I pulled away from it. Right,
Okay.
I believe couponing is especially helpful to those that are 50 and over. With inflation continuing going on, unfortunately, it makes things so much more difficult for those that are on fixed income. Couponing and saving money as much as you can will help because the savings can go back into paying for other things. For example, doctor's bills, insurance didn't cover, prescriptions, because those are expensive. And it kind of helps balance things out. And one of the things that, truthfully, and it was kind of an eye-opening experience when I was talking to my mother-in-law, some of the things that I know how to coupon, I just never have done. And I promise you, I'm going to start doing it after this podcast. Teaching people how to coupon things that are incredibly important to people that are 50 and over. Things like fiber care products and Metamucil and skincare products and arthritis medicine and stuff like that. I know how to do that, and I can help. I can write really great deals for that. And truthfully, I never have. I don't know why, but it's coming.
There you go.
It's
Very
100%
cool.
coming now.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very good. Very good. Well, thanks, Mandy. We appreciate your time with us. We've been looking forward to this because we've never really delved into couponing. We know it exists, but we want to go to the source and know exactly how to do it and the best options to do it. So again, her website, Love, Live, Save. And listeners, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check
Thank
out
you.
our show notes. We're going to have everything we talked about here today as an easy click away for contact information and resources. We'll also have it on our website, lookingforwardourway.com. And we're looking forward to hearing your feedback on this and any of our podcast episodes.